Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. Welcome to our ThoughtFarmer webinar this morning on content. We're just going to give it a few more minutes here before we get started. We're going to get started at 9:30 Pacific time sharp. So we'll just give people a few more minutes to log on and grab a coffee and get comfortable, and we'll get started very shortly. If you would be so kind. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our content webinar here today, this morning. Glad that all of you guys could join us. We're going to get started shortly. Just before we do, a few housekeeping items. As always, when we do these webinars, we do record the session. So we will be emailing you in a day or two with a link to the recording, should you want to review any of the presentation today, or if you want to share it with someone else. That will be arriving in your inbox. And throughout the webinar today, we welcome any questions as well. So there is a Q&A box in your Zoom toolbar here. If there's any questions that you have throughout the presentation, please feel free to post a question in the Q&A box there. And either one of there's a number of ThoughtFarmer staff sitting in today who can answer your questions throughout the webinar. And we also have some time after the presentation to do some live Q&A as well. So don't be shy, post all of your questions in the chat bot. All right, so let's get started. And before we do, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Caroline. If you are currently a ThoughtFarmer customer, you may have seen my name before. I'm Director of Customer Success here at ThoughtFarmer, which means that I lead our customer support and our customer success teams, as well as our professional services and implementation teams. So really taking care of our customers and making sure that everyone is set up for success with their ThoughtFarmer intranet. I've been here for a long time. I'm part of the furniture at this point. I've been here for 15 years. It's a bit of a milestone year for me here at ThoughtFarmer. So I know a lot about our customers, a lot about how people use ThoughtFarmer, a lot about the product as well. I've been playing around with it for most of my adult life at this point. So that's me. And I'm excited to talk to you guys today about content, about great internet content and how you can make it as easy as possible using ThoughtFarmer and as quick as possible to put great content on your internet. So for the agenda for today, we're going to start off by just talking a little bit or recapping why content is, why it matters. Why is it so important for your internet? We'll take a look at some common pain points that tend to show up for people who are managing and creating content on internets. Then we'll really get into the meat of it. We'll highlight a few key features in ThoughtFarmer that can help you as a content creator to create lovely, great looking content. And then after we do that sort of review, we're going to dive into a live demo where I'll be showing you some of those features live and with some real examples. After that, of course, like I mentioned, we have plenty of time for Q&A. Like I mentioned before, please post any questions in the Q&A functionality in Zoom. Somebody will answer your question during the presentation, and otherwise we come back to it later on. All right, so let's get started. Why does content matter? Why do we care about content? And well, it really is, great content really is the backbone of any intranet, right? It keeps your users and your staff coming back. You could have the best designed intranet ever, but if it doesn't have relevant and engaging content, it just won't deliver value to your staff, to its users, and it is likely that it will fall flat, right? Content really is the lifeblood of your intranet, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it builds trust and engagement, right? If you post consistent and transparent information on your intranet, you're going to see that it will make people feel appreciated, that they're being included, they will be better informed, right? Which of course builds trust with your leadership, with your organization. If you focus on content that celebrates wins, team wins or individual wins, that's always also a great way to build that trust and build engagement with your users. Your intranet is also a place that keeps everyone aligned if it has great content, right? It's a great place to share examples of projects that you've done or activities that really line up with the values and goals of your organization, and it helps your employees understand what that alignment looks like in practice, right? It helps staff be more efficient as well. If people have easy access to accurate and important information, right, it makes them more efficient in their day to day. And if you have your content well organized and structured, your navigation structure on your internet, users will be more efficient by spending less time searching for information, which is something that we hear quite often. And lastly, and maybe surprisingly, but an internet with great content can also help you improve customer service, right? If we look at all of these factors above, you provide easy access to a centralized knowledge base, maybe. If people have easy access to customer stories and customer insights, those people in your organization who are customer facing, they're going to be in a much better spot to serve your customers well. Which would potentially help improve your customer service as well. So, conclusion, an intranet is only as great as its content, right? And that's why we're talking about that today. Oftentimes we hear about some challenges as well, right? Those of you who are in the trenches, managing an intranet, posting content to an intranet, these are some of the common pain points that we hear from time to time. First off, getting content published, getting it approved. Oftentimes there's multiple people who have to review content before it gets published. It can take some time kind of coordinating that approval process and sometimes cause delays or bottlenecks in getting content published. Making content look beautiful, making content look appealing and engaging can sometimes be a pain point as well, depending on which tools you're dealing with. And that's why we'll highlight some of those ThoughtFarmer tools later on. Consistency, across all of your internet content, making sure content looks uniform, same formatting, same look and feel across the site. That is sometimes something that takes some work. Next up, time constraints and writer's block. Writing great content takes time. It takes time to create it, to edit it, to make sure that it's just good. Just strikes the right tone and is good enough to publish. That takes a lot of time away from those people publishing it. And sometimes you can also deal with writer's block, empty page syndrome, right? Just how do I get started writing this news post? One thing we hear very often as well is repetitiveness of creating common content. If you are managing a large section of content on the internet, having to repeat yourself, creating the same type of content in multiple locations can become very repetitive and can sometimes, because you're manually recreating it, can lead to errors across the site as well, and inconsistencies. And last but not least, content freshness, everybody's favorite topic. It's a big task and a daunting task, to be honest, to make sure that all of the information on your internet remains accurate, remains relevant, and is not outdated. Right. This is something that is really important when we think about the long-term success of your internet. But it's a big and daunting task, especially if you're in it alone and have to take care of this yourself. So this may be like a little bit of a downer side, but luckily in ThoughtFarmer, we have plenty of tools that can help you overcome these challenges and make sure that you are able to overcome them and create content that is beautiful, engaging, and that is quickly published. So let's take a look at some of these features here. First one I want to highlight is our collaborative drafts feature. And again, I'm just running through this here now quite quickly. When we go into the demo, I will show you how all of these features work in practice. But collaborative drafts, essentially, when we talked earlier about that pain point where we have multiple stakeholders who have to approve content, it causes delays, it causes bottlenecks. You have to chase people to review content. With collaborative drafts, it's really easy to, as a content creator, to invite certain team members to collaborate on your draft content, have them provide feedback, making sure everybody's feedback is captured. And then only when everybody has sort of given their green check mark, their stamp of approval, it's really easy to publish that content to everyone who needs to see it in the organization. something we introduced recently, and it's been a great addition for that type of content that really needs approval from different people. The other pain point there, creating content is overwhelming. It's a big task. It takes a lot of time, and sometimes we deal with writer's block, right? This is where our new AI features come in and can provide a lot of help here. We have two generative AI features in ThoughtFarmer now. It's called AI Create and AI Enhance. AI Create is really a feature where you can give the AI little robot, if you will, some prompts. It'll generate some initial content for you, which makes it faster to just get something on paper that you can then refine in a way that is good for publication. And that's where AI Enhance comes in. AI Enhance is really, as it says here on the slide, it's your personal editor, your personal writing assistant that can help you refine the content. It can help you strike the right tone. It can even help do spell checks and grammar checks or translations. It's very, very multifaceted. Next up, content blocks. This is also something that we introduced recently in ThoughtFarmer, and content blocks really allow you to pre-create little blocks of content that you can then reuse easily on different pages of the internet, or even on content templates if you are using those in your ThoughtFarmer intranet. So if we think about that pain point we talked about earlier, like it's hard to have consistency for your content all across the internet, and manually recreating it everywhere is just very time consuming, and it can lead to inconsistencies or even errors, right? With content blocks, you kind of bypass that. And it also saves you time, right? Instead of having to recreate that content from scratch every time, all you do is just open up your editor and insert a content block straight into your page. It also provides you with some consistent messaging, right? You can be confident that with that preset text, the content and the message and the tone are the same every time this is used on different areas of the intranet. Lastly, fewer errors, right? This is pre-built content. It reduces the risks of any typos or other errors. So this is a very powerful feature if you are a content editor on your intranet. Our enhanced editor, again, we talked about that pain point to make content look beautiful, to make it appealing, to make people want to read it, right? Boring content really, it destroys engagement on your internet. And we've recently revamped the editing experience in ThoughtFarmer, really modernizing it and we made it it's as easy to use as ever, right? Our editor has a ton of power tools that can help you optimize your content, format it, make it look beautiful, engaging, make it look or make it really easy for your readers to scan, right? It's hard to talk about that on a slide, so we'll really take a look at that in the demo later on. Shared cards, our latest feature, we just launched that a few weeks ago. I wanted to talk about shared cards in relation to the pain point where updating content in several spaces of the internet can be a chore, right? It's repetitive, takes time. And again, much like what we saw there with content blocks, it just can lead to inconsistencies. So we recently introduced shared cards in ThoughtFarmer, which essentially what it lets you do is it lets you build out rich text cards and quick links cards, which are just kind of building blocks of your pages. You can build them out in the admin panel and add all of the information or quick links that are used quite often. And then what you can do is you can then use those cards on any page in ThoughtFarmer, whether it's on a single page or on a content template. And this, of course, saves you tons of time and it simplifies the content creation process greatly, right? It also allows you, much like content blocks, to be really efficient with updates, right? If you have to make a change to, let's say, a common quick links card that's used throughout the internet, all you have to do is change it once on your admin panel. And once you do, those changes are then instantly reflected across all of the instances on ThoughtFarmer where that card exists. Plus, again, you can be really confident that the content is accurate across all of those areas, right? Because it's centrally managed from that admin panel. So again, much more consistency and much more efficient as a content creator to get that content distributed across different areas of the intranet. Last but not least, content review. So that's the last pain point we looked at earlier as well, keeping your content fresh, how crucial it is for a well-oiled intranet, and what a big effort it is oftentimes too, right? Now, we're attempting to make this easier to for you to manage that by introducing our content reviews feature in ThoughtFarmer. Essentially, what it allows you to do is take a look at different content throughout your intranet and review it on regular intervals, right? Importantly, it allows you to really divide and conquer and delegate specific types of pages or content to different content owners who can then get automated reminders from time to time that they are being asked to review a certain page, review a section, and make sure that is still up to date. We have our content review dashboard, where if you are a content manager, you can easily see all of the different content reviews you currently have on the go. You can track progress, and you can also schedule these types of review on an ongoing, recurring basis so that you make sure that important content like your important policies or employee handbook, that we have a regularly scheduled time for somebody to go in and make sure that all of that information is still accurate and valuable for everyone in the organization. So that's a really quick overview of some of the great tools you have in ThoughtFarmer to help you be the best content creator and content manager, honestly, that you can. What I want to do now is dive into a live demo and show you some of these things. So for that, I'm just going to pop out here of my presentation, and I'm going to open up my farmer site here, which is in the next tab. Hope that's visible for everyone. So I'm here in a ThoughtFarmer instance, fictitious organization. I'm looking at a draft page for a new employee onboarding guide. So let's imagine that we are a internal communications manager, and it's our job really to make sure that all the important content on our intranet is always up to date. And today we've been tasked with drafting a new onboarding guide for our company, right? So let's see how we can use our ThoughtFarmer intranet to create this new content and make it really easy to do so and as quick as possible. So for this example, because I want to avoid you guys watching me type up a whole policy from scratch, I've already pre-populated it with some information. I'm just going to edit this page and pretend that we are creating it from scratch. Now, the first thing I want to highlight here is that collaborative drafts feature, right? Again, helping you manage multiple stakeholders in creating and approving content that needs to be published. So you can see if you, when you start creating a new page, you'll have a sliding button here that you can use to post your content in draft mode. Once you do, you can see that you can now add collaborators, add other coworkers that can, work on this content in draft mode with you and help you before it needs to be approved. So in this case, I'm going to add some collaborators. I'm in internal communications, but I really would like some input from, for example, Abigail, who is my coworker in human resources. I would really like her to draft the content that has to do with any important HR policies new people need to know about. And I'm also going to invite Elizabeth, who is our manager of IT. And she can really help with drafting some content around how to set up common software tools as a new employee. Abigail and Elizabeth, I'm going to add them here as collaborators. And then you can see here as well, currently, myself, I am the only one who can publish this page, who can make the final decision to approve and publish this page. But if I want to, I can give the same permissions to Abigail and Elizabeth if I feel confident with them doing a final look over and publishing the page here as well. So I'm going to click on done. If I save my page now really quick, you're going to see that this page is currently in draft mode, and it has a quick preview of all three of us who are working on this page together, right? So again, using collaborative drafts, it's really easy to get input on content from experts throughout your organization, even before you have to share that content with everyone on the internet. Makes that approval process so much easier, so much quicker, and hopefully removes any bottlenecks and delays in publishing your content. All right. Next up, let's take a look at our generative AI features, our AI create and AI enhance, right? And the AI features really, like I said, they provide us with a good starting point. In this case, I want to draft a welcome message, that a little personal message for anybody new who joins our team that introduces them to the company and to what this onboarding guide is all about, right? So with AI, I'm going to really speed up this writing process. You'll see here in the toolbar, I have a little robot icon. That's my AI create. I'm going to click on that, and then I can now give it any prompts here to generate some content for me. In this case, I'm going to ask it to write a short welcome message that I can add to the Intranet onboarding section. And I'm asking it to please keep it to one paragraph and don't use headings or bullet points. So you can be as long or short or complex with your AI prompts. And sometimes if you write a longer prompt that's really specific, it will result in a better output of what AI Create is going to generate for you. So sometimes it takes a little bit of experimenting with the prompt to yield some better results. So I'll click on my button here. It has drafted this message here for me. If I'm happy with it as is, I can insert it into my page. There it is. And in this case, maybe this is great, but I would just like a little bit more meat on the bone here. I would like it to be a little bit longer. Maybe I also want to optimize and refine the tone of this message, which I can do with my AI enhance. Again, that's our personal editor there, right? And AI Enhance is this, you can access it by clicking on this magic wand icon here. So click on AI Enhance. There's a number of just pre-built commands that you can use to enhance your message. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll say, okay, continue this message, make it a little longer, right? It's going to think a little bit. It's going to write some more content. If I'm happy with this, I can replace the content that I had selected previously. You can also, of course, ask AI Enhance to try again. So I'll click on that. It's going to think a little bit, and it will regenerate the message here again. So let's say we're happy with this. I can go and click on replace. It's going to pop all of that information into the page. Of course, this is a starting point. Like I mentioned, you can continue to manually edit and optimize the message as needed, right? So maybe I don't want this to be a really big heading. I'll make it a little smaller. You can do all of those things. One feature that AI Enhance provides you with as well that might not be something that you think about right away is translation, right? So if you are an organization that has multiple locations, you're a global organization, sometimes you might want to have some content feature in different languages on your intranet, right? In this case, let's see if we can have our welcome message also appear in French and in Spanish. I'm going to click on AI Enhance again. And then if you scroll all the way down, you'll see a few translate options here. So let's translate this message to Spanish. It's going to start thinking about that. Instead of replace in this case, I'm going to say insert below so that I have those versions ready to go. And maybe I'll do the same with French. English to translate to French. There we go. And I'll say insert below. So now I have easily the 3 different versions of my welcome message. Now keep in mind, this is machine translation, right? This is not going to be perfect. You probably, if you are actively drafting multilingual content, I definitely recommend having a language expert review that before you do final publication. But it is again a really great starting point. Okay, I'm just going to remove these multilingual versions just for a second, and we'll go back to our English version here, which I'm quite happy with, but maybe the last thing I want to do is really leverage AI Enhance to strike the right tone for my message, right? So again, what I'm going to do is, and maybe I'll only select the actual welcome message here. I'm going to, if you do a refining of any type of content, it's best to click on the, if you have a very specific command you want to ask it to look at, it's best to click on AI Create. So again, AI Create is good to get started and generate content, but you can also always select existing content on a page, click on AI Create, and then type in your prompt to improve that content. So in this case, I'm going to say, okay, great. Can you please rewrite this message and ensure that the tone is supportive, warm, and welcoming, right? Again, click on enter. And it's going to give you some options here. Again, at any point in time, you can click on try again if you're not quite happy with the result, and then replace. Looks like it added a little extra heading in here. So again, you can see that with these AI features, both enhance and create, it can really help you get started writing content that's maybe a bit more difficult to get started with, right? It can help with that sort of blank page anxiety. I'm certainly something that I have. I find that AI helps me a lot with that. And then the enhance feature, of course, can help you with everything that you need to do as an editor and writer, right? Striking the right tone, applying certain types of formatting, doing that translation. It's really, there's really a number of ways in which AI Create and AI Enhance can help you. All right. Next up, I wanted to demonstrate our content blocks, our in-page content blocks. Sorry. Again, manually recreating content on multiple pages, it's time consuming, it's error prone. We've seen that with content blocks, it's really quick to reuse popular content on different areas of your intranet. If you have certain, and we'll take a look at a few use cases here in a minute, but if you want to use content blocks, the first thing you'll do is actually create those pieces of content in your editor on the admin panel. That's not something we're doing today. We have it already built out on this side, but that would be the first step. Once you do that and you're creating a new page, or anybody in your organization creates or edits a new page, they will be able to access these content blocks in the toolbar of their editor here. So just click on this icon here. You can see in this intranet, we have a number of content blocks or template of contents already set up. In this case, I have my week 1 to-do list that I want to add in the onboarding guide. And I have that set up as a content block because I want to use it in this general employee onboarding guide, but in time, I want to create different onboarding spaces for new employees, customized ones, personalized ones, and I will want to recreate that content block there as well. So that's why this is a good example of something you set up as a content block. So all I have to do really is put my cursor in the right spot right here, click on the content block, click on new staff week 1 tasks, and right away you can see it pops all of that text here in the page at the single click of one button, and can have hyperlinks. It can really have a content block, can have anything that you have available to you in the rich text editor. This is a simple list of action items, but I'll give you another example of a task tracker that we've set up as a content block here on this side. So I'll click in here again, click on task tracker, and you can see that it now pops in the page, this really helpful tool that my new employees can use to keep track of their week 1 tasks. This can be used, of course, in any type of way to make sure that you give your employees the power tools to keep track of their tasks, project manage themselves, and those types of things. So just goes to show, it's not only text, it can be tables, it can be videos, it can be embedded content or images. Really anything you can put in your rich text editor in ThoughtFarmer can become a content block. All right. An added benefit, of course, like I mentioned there earlier, is if you use content blocks consistently, not only is it quick and easy to manage content and to create new content this way, but it also provides you with a consistent look and feel for common content throughout your intranet, right? Think about fonts, font size, colors, heading styles, brand elements, right? You can really make sure by providing them in content blocks that they are looking nice and consistent across the intranet. All right, next up are our editing experience, our enhanced editor, right? And what we want to do now is take a look at the formatting and the layout of our new onboarding guide. Some of it is already here, but let's optimize it a little bit further, right? And our editor is perfect for that. It has some really powerful tools to quickly optimize my content and make it look beautiful and engaging. And like I said there earlier, also make it really easy to scan for my readers, right? Get beyond that big wall of text and provide a great structure and visual outline for it. Now, the first thing I want to show you guys, and that's a new feature in our editor, is something that's really useful for long form content like this, right? This is a long guide, lots of headers, different sections. We now have the option to quickly add a table of contents into our page. So this button here in the toolbar, if I click it, with one click of a button, it's going to pop at the top of the page a table of contents. What it does is it actually looks at the different headings that are used, the different heading styles that are used in this document, and it creates sort of the hierarchy and table of contents based on the headings used in the document, which is for something like this really, really useful, right? This is a long document. If somebody comes to read this onboarding guide, they may want to quickly jump into specific sections of it. And the table of contents provide that really easily. The other thing I want to show you, and that goes specifically to like how to make your content look beautiful, is just highlight how you can easily work with images, with tables, as we saw there earlier. And I'm not showing that today, but it's good to know that any content that has embed capabilities can easily be added to a ThoughtFarmer page as well. Think about videos, think about different widgets. I know Ben and our team embeds Google documents into spreadsheets into pages as well. So you can get really, really creative with that. But for now, I want to show you how to add an image. So especially for this, I want to add a nice welcoming image to this page that can be right at the top when a new hire reads this guide and make them feel really, really great and welcome. So I'm going to click on the insert image button here. You can see there's an easy way for me to upload an image from my computer or choose from any galleries that are featured on my intranet already, right? It's easy for me to do that. But in this case, I also want to highlight our Unsplash integration in ThoughtFarmer. And that's this tab right here. So Unsplash, if you haven't heard of it before, it is it's a website that offers license-free, really high resolution, high quality images for free that you can easily add to your intranet using our integration. So maybe say, welcome to the team, and give it a search term. It's then going to search its database of images and give you a number of images to choose from. So I'll choose this nice one here, click on insert, and it's going to pop it right into my page here. As you can see, you then have a number of tools to really work with that image and edit it and resize it, make it bigger, choose where you want to have it show up on the page. You can also add a nice caption right from this toolbar. We're so glad to have you on board, right? So it's really, really easy to add those images to spruce up your content and make it look beautiful. And with Unsplash, of course, because it offers so many images that are really high quality and high resolution, definitely always recommend taking advantage of that and using it to add to your content. Last thing I want to highlight in our editor is it's also something that we added recently. It is a to-do list addition. So, and let's take the example here for our week 1 list of action items. Currently, this is a bullet point list, but if I wanted to transform this into action items, I can select this entire list, click on the to-do list button in my editor, in toolbar here, and right away it's going to transform this list into checklist items that if I am the new hire here, I can easily now use this page to keep track of any tasks that I have completed. Again, just giving yourself, giving your staff really the tool to use ThoughtFarmer, use the intranet for productivity, to become more productive and to keep track of tasks as well. All right. So as you can see, the editing experience in ThoughtFarmer, aside with all the other tools, it's really easy to use. It has a ton of really powerful tools that it gives you to, as an editor, as a content creator, to make your content look beautiful, make it look really nicely formatted, and take advantage of all of the multimedia integration that it has as well. All right, so next up, I wanted to show you guys shared cards, right? And again, like content blocks, shared cards really helps you with that challenge of managing content in different areas of your intranet, which can be, again, repetitive, take a lot of time, lead to inconsistent content and inconsistent look and feel of content. With shared cards, you can easily reuse rich text cards and quick links cards across your intranet. Now for that, I'm going to move away from my editor here. Let's actually save this page and take a look at it. This is now what my onboarding guide looks like. I now want to add I want to add a card, and a card in ThoughtFarmer is, think of it as just a building block of your page. I'm going to add a card with some important links to areas that are relevant for new hires. I also want to add a rich text card that summarizes our company's values, which is also something really important for new hires to know about, right? So I'll go back to edit my page. Again, not going to work in the editor, but I'm going to click here on setup cards, which now kind of gives me a preview of my page layout. All of what I've been working on so far sits here in the body of the page. But what I'm going to do here in this right column, which is currently empty, is I'm going to add those 2 shared cards. Again, shared cards are something that if you are an administrator, you set up on the admin panel. If you're not an administrator, talk to your ThoughtFarmer administrator and they can help you set that up. But in this case, we've already done that work for you and we're just going to add it to this page here. So I'm going to click on add card, and I'll go down beyond all of our standard cards here. And this is where all of my shared cards are listed. In this case, I'm going to click on new hire onboarding links, have that here on the page. And the next one, like I said, I also want to add a text or a rich text card that has all of our company values. So I don't have to go in here. I don't have to add or edit any of the content. I simply have to click done and save my page. And now you can see that those quick links are here, right? I can easily click on employee handbook. It already links to that other section on the intranet. And our core values are listed here as well on the page. So again, this is the type of content that you may want to recreate in other spaces on the internet, not just in your new employee onboarding guide, right? And so by using this as shared cards, you can easily pop it into an existing page, and it's really efficient at doing updates, right? If anything is changed to the original content, to the original quick links card or core values card, that gets updated in every single instance of that card across the intranet. Saves you a lot of time. All right, last but not least, content review. So this is great. This onboarding guide looks great. I've talked with Abigail, I've talked with Elizabeth. They're happy with the content. I'm going to take it out of draft mode, right? And I'm going to publish this page, which is great. It's now there for staff to read and to take advantage of. But what I really, a last step in content creation that's really important to think about is like, what in what happens in the future, right? This is a living document. Our organization's policies and resources change all the time. This onboarding guide is going to get outdated if we don't schedule some recurring touch points in the future where we can review the content and make sure it's still accurate. So starting a content review straight after you publish a page is a good practice. And like I mentioned there before, ThoughtFarmer helps you to do that, right? So if I click on these three dots here on my page, you can do this on any individual page. You can create a review on an entire section, on an entire department group. In this case, I want to create a review just for this onboarding guide here. I'm going to click on create, and then it's going to give you a few options here. So for example, what's your review date? When do you want to start reviewing this content? And in this case, maybe I'll say, you know what, a year from now, right? September 2025, the 25th, I want to make sure that we start a content review for our onboarding guide. And then a due date would be, okay, how long do you want to give the team who reviews this to actually go through the review and finalize it? So we'll give them a month maybe to do that. And then important here as well, you can now choose, okay, in the future, how often do I want my reviewers to be reminded to go and take a look at this page? Default at 6 months, maybe every year is good for this onboarding guide here. So I'll set that cadence, and then I will choose my reviewers. I'm the publisher or the creator of this page. I will automatically be added as a reviewer. But in this case, you know, I want Elizabeth, my IT manager, and I want Abigail, my colleague in human resources. I want them to review the page with me in the future, not only because it's fun to share the load, right? Many hands make light work, but also because of their expertise with regards to HR policies, IT help, and IT software updates and things like that. I want to make sure that I include them in this review as well. And now I'm going to click on save. So what that means is that a year from now, Elizabeth, Abigail, and myself are going to get an alert here in our alerts panel and also an email actually in our inbox to let us know that, hey, you know, the time has come. It's time for you to go and review this content. Make sure that it is still accurate, and if not, make any changes to it. The page will also always say when the next review is going to be starting. Now, if you are somebody who is an active content manager or content creator on the site, you may be involved in different content reviews at any point in time, right? So you can always easily access your content review dashboard just in your profile menu here. And that's going to give you an overview of all of those pages or all of those sections where you've been asked to participate in content reviews. You can easily see I've been pretty delinquent apparently here. I have a bunch of overdue reviews here. My new employee onboarding guide is listed here as well. It's scheduled, it's not yet active. But for those that I am active on, I can see that the progress here, I can easily track the progress of any of these reviews. If I wanted to go ahead and take a look at a specific page here, I can easily access those pages from here and mark a page as reviewed straight from the page or in the dashboard there. So it's a last step, but it's an important step in your content management and content creation process. Now that concludes the demo for now. I hope this was useful. Again, if you've seen anything today that you're like, oh, that's really interesting, I would love to talk more about that, or I'd love to see more about that specific feature, definitely let us know. I mean, I'm always here, happy to talk through anything ThoughtFarmer. If you've been in touch with Corin or Colton on our sales team, they are more than happy to give you a more in-depth demo as well on anything that you've seen here so far today. With that though, this is the end of the presentation, so I'd like to open it up for any questions that have come in. And I'm just going to open our Q&A box here. And looks like we have a number of questions that were already answered. I'm just going to take a look here to see if you have questions now, please please feel free to either unmute yourself or type in the Q&A box. I'm happy to answer any further questions that that come up. Just going to see here, there's one question here that's helpful, but in the US, compliance with new federal rule is the standard for products like this. We need to know compliance with that rule would be in place before we could entertain this platform. We need to know the concrete meaning of the end of that article when it admits.
Hi, Caroline. So, hi, everyone. This is Ben from ThoughtFarmer. We shared some information. There was a question about accessibility. So we shared a resource from our website about how we've designed the product with accessibility in mind. And then I shared a link for some sample guidelines we have on the community site about, using things within ThoughtFarmer for accessibility. And yeah, this was like a follow-up question to that.
I see. Yeah, I'm seeing it now in the answered questions. Yes. Okay, great. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one here open. I mean, I would suggest if you want to looks like you're not currently a ThoughtFarmer customer yet. I would definitely encourage to review the information that Ben has sent, but perhaps also like bring it up as a conversation topic with Colton or with Corin. This is definitely a very valid question and something that we've worked with a lot of customers about. So I'm sure we can explore that further with you. Heather is asking, how did you create the quick links shared card with the links shown in blocks instead? Yeah, that's a good question. I might actually just really quickly show you that. It is for a lot of the demo here today, I'm showing you how to use these features when they've already been set up. But if I go quickly into my admin panel and I pull up that card there, so it's this new onboarding hiring links. If I edit this shared card here on the admin panel, you can see that there's different layout options when you create a quick links card, right? And so that's not only for shared cards, you can create one-off quick links cards on any page, right? So in this case, when you create one by default, I think the layout would be a list, which is just a list of links like you see here, an icon, and then the name of the link with the copy, the text and the link behind it. In this case, what we chose was a tile with name. So that is what gives you that block layout. If you go in and edit these specific links, you can see that it gives you a preview of what that block or that kind of tile is going to look like in the quick links card. And you can really optimize that choosing a custom logo or emoji. You can even upload your own images if you have, I don't know, if you want to upload, for example, logos of applications that you use, that we see customers do that quite often. You can customize the background and icon color and even the text color. A lot of people tend to do that so that it kind of like aligns with their brand colors. So that is this specific layout that you want to be looking for, the tile with name. I hope that that answers your questions there, Heather. I see Jasper is typing an answer too. I'm not sure if he might be maybe posting a link to some further documentation on quick links. We have a very extensive knowledge base that walks you exactly through all the steps needed to make that happen. All right, I don't see any new questions anymore, and I think we are about time, maybe even like a few minutes over. So if you have any other questions that you're thinking of that we haven't answered today or that might come up later, please feel free to get in touch. Again, your customer success manager, if you're a customer, or myself, I'm always happy to talk with everyone. If you're currently talking with Corin or Colton, they are amazing and have a lot of knowledge about anything that I have presented today, and we'll be happy to talk to you more about that. Other than that, we are looking forward to sending you a recording of the webinar in a few days' time. You can rewatch, you can share. And if anything else pops up, we're always here to chat further and help you out. So with that, I think we will say goodbye from here in Vancouver. Thank you all so much for joining, and we'll hope to see you at the next one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.